everybody able to put in their matrix and find their area?
Oh yeah, this is easy.
This was nice. Remember, your matrix has to be a perfect square. Your coordinates are 2 by 2, but if you have 3 coordinates, you're now making a matrix of 3 by 2. So you have to fill this with 1. Not the front row, the last row. So start like this, lay out your coordinates, and plug them into your calculator. And remember, if your determinant is negative, use the negative sign to make your area be positive. Areas always have to be positive. So let's just go through these other 2 questions. Any questions on any of these? If you just check for a minute. No? Everybody good with it? Good. In terms of decimals or fractions, if they're terminating decimal, leave it as a decimal if you like. If they don't, leave it as a fraction. Let's just go by that rule. I know we always say 3 decimals anyway, but usually that's if we're taking it off of a graph if we have no other choice. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Remember, in order for you to find out if you can do a multiplication or not, you have to lay out the order of your matrices. This is row by column. If you forget that it's row by column, go to your matrix in your calculator, put it in, and make sure it looks like that. So if you say 2 columns times 3 rows, just make sure that it's going to look the same for yours so that you got it in the right order. This is 3 rows, 1 column. These middle numbers have to match. If they match, we can multiply. And then you're going to multiply row by column. You're going to end up with a 2 by 1. So does it make sense? You're doing 2 rows and 1 column. So doesn't it make sense your resulting matrix would have 2 rows, 1 column? So we're going to multiply element for element. 1 times 2. Remember, it's easy if you multiply them out and see them there. Plus 0 times negative 1. Plus 3 times 1. End of that column. Next row. Do the same thing again. Element for element. Well, this does not give you, I'll tell you one other thing. Now, that's it. So watch. Here's your columns, 1, 2. Here's your other column, 0, negative 1. Here's your other column, 3, negative 2. And look at the guys that you're multiplying by. They all have to match up. So you know this is going to be 2 rows. Add this together. A 2 plus a 0 plus a 3 gives you a 5. A 4 plus a 1 plus a 2 gives you a 7. Here's your resulting matrix. Is it 2 rows, 1 column? And you can check that on your calculator. Put it in, multiply it, and make sure it works. Oh, this was a negative 2. Sorry, you're right. I missed my negative sign because I wrote it in the wrong place. I think my board is not lined up here. Negative 2, thank you. So this would be 3? Yeah. And that's a good reason why you check it. Here's my negative sign up here. For some reason it was right there. And that's a good reason why you check it on your calculator, so that you can see if it works. Now, it's not always a commutative property in a matrix, because what happens if B comes first? B is 3 by 1, and A is 2 by 3. These do not match up in the middle. So this you cannot multiply. Undefined. And you can say mismatched. The dimensions are off. C and D, you can put this in your calculator, or you can add element by element. You would do 4 plus a negative 4, negative 1 plus 3, 7 plus 1, and 5 and 2. Sometimes they are easier just to do them by hand. It takes more effort sometimes to put them in the calc. If you're going to go back to back, a plus and a minus, then put them in your calc. Makes life easier. Questions so far? Can everybody put these in their calcs? Everybody's good? Comfortable? This is going to be on your test. D minus C. Negative 4 minus 4 is what? Negative 8. 3 minus the negative 1. 4. 1 minus 7. 2 minus 5. There you go. Sometimes it's easier just to do it by hand. Now, I told you guys the other day, the only determinant that I want you to work out by hand is a 2 by 2. The rest you can do in your calculator. So when you get a 2 by 2, remember, bring your products up like this. 30 minus, what's negative 3 times negative 2? 6. Your determinant is 24. Now, you can cheat a little bit on this, yes. If you bring your products up and you forget if you're adding or subtracting, ladies, you with me?
Yeah.
What? Go ahead. I'd rather you ask me because it's kind of distracting when it's...
Well, you didn't do it yet. Like when you times it by 1/2.
Okay. Use the negative if your answer for your determinant was negative. You're talking about this one?
No, I'm just talking about like this little sheet. Like you have to times it by 1/2.
No. Only this guy back here. Only the triangle. Only when you find the area. That's the only formula that you have to multiply by half. Your determinant as it is just your cross products, you subtract them.
Oh, alright.
So if you did your cross products 30 minus 6 and you weren't sure, do I add them or subtract them, and you put it in your calculator and your answer was 24, showed you had to subtract them. So that's all that we know for that is your determinant is 24. In this one, when you make a matrix for this, what do I have to put to make this a square? 1.
Wait, so for that one, like, there's no work for it to be shown, just for the answer.
For this one,
Yeah.
you're going to show me 30 minus 6. For this guy, you're going to put this in your calculator and find the determinant. What was the determinant? Negative 23. But you need to find the area. So now, the area formula says 1/2 times the determinant. But because your determinant is negative, you're going to use the negative 1/2. Because your areas always need to come out to be positive. You could leave it as 23/2. You could leave it as 11.5 to determine. Yes.
So if it's 2, you can just show like what you did for the first one. But if it's 3, should we write all those numbers out?
Yes, I want to see your determinant. If you have a triangle, I want to see your determinant. I want to see your matrix, what it looks like, and then you just put your determinant in. Because you've got to be able to fill that with ones. And the only other problem that I'm going to give you is one of the ones from finding a parabola. I didn't give you the circle, I gave you a parabola one. You know the ones we spent with the parabolas? If I gave you 3 points, let's just take a look at one of those.
So wait, so for this,
Okay, remember if I gave you these, the parabolas, and I said, guys, this is going to be on your test. I'm giving you a parabola, not a circle. I find the parabolas a little bit easier. Ladies, so lay your points out like this. This is the x, this is the y. Plug them in. Don't forget the y equals.
where is
You are looking for it. It's just one of your other homework. Just write this down so you're able to do it. Plug them in. 0 is equal to a, you're plugging in for x and y, plus b, these are your 3 unknowns, a, b, and c. You have an x and a y. Do the second one. Negative 2 is your y, and x is 2. 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c. Last one. 0 is your y, x is your 4. And condense those formulas. And at the same time, move the constant to the left-hand side. Move it to the left. Because when you do your matrix, your constant, it has to be in order X, Y, Z, A, B, C, constant on the right-hand side. So this is going to be a 0, a 0, a C. This is going to be 2 squared. Remember also, when you square a negative, you always get a positive. 4A plus 2B plus C. This is going to be 16A plus 4B plus C. You might want to just throw the zeros in here. There's your matrix. Pull out your coefficients. 0, 0, 1, 0. 4, 2, 1, negative 2. 16, 4, 1, 0. Do a matrix, do an RREF, and find your ABC. Once you find ABC, bring it back and put it in your equation. If you're giving me the equation of a parabola, make sure that you say y equals, because it's an equation. Anybody put this in? Try it. Paul, you putting it in? Okay. Paul will give us our answers. I didn't give you a circle one. I gave you a parabola one. They're a little more common. But know how to do this. And realize, guys, you're going to be using your calculator for a lot of this. You still have to show me work, not on the adding and subtracting part, but I need to see work on the determinant when it's a 2 by 2, a multiplying, and these guys. Anybody get an ABC yet? Invalid Y. Invalid 4.
It's R. Not R.
Oh, you got it backwards. It's a 3 by 4.
I got it.
Oh, you're not filling these.
I got it.
So this is a 3 by 4.
I got it.
3 rows, 4 columns. Which deck?
This.
Okay, so read them to me. Read me across. 1,
100.5. 0, 1, 0, negative 2. 0, 0, 1, 0.
Okay, guys, so watch. This is your A, your B, your C. Remember, these are binary bytes, on or off. When A is on, the answer is 0.5, 1/2. When B is on, the answer is negative 2. When C is on, it's a 0. Go back and plug them in. So you have a parabola that opens up.
Wait, that's it.
That's it. That's the answer to your parabola.
I get 100.
I'm looking for you guys, so I'll get 100. Start this quarter at quarter